Good afternoon and welcome back to the Good Eggs podcast. My name is Anthony McDermott and today we're joined by a very special guest and a good pal of mine. It's Mr. Ger Fowler from Veterans in Crisis CIDC. How are you doing, Ger? You alright?
Doing good, mate. Thank you for having us on.
No, thanks for coming on. We've been trying to get this in the diary for a good while now, but we're both full of busy, so
I'm not very good at tech.
I mean, I was pretty shit at that as well, to be fair. So good stuff. So as everybody knows, the Good Eggs podcast is all about highlighting those people who are doing really good things across our community. Jer's been running VIX for, how long you had VIX for now, Jer?
It'll be 9 years in January.
Crikey, so nearly a decade of Veterans in Crisis, which is brilliant. And you guys, which we'll come on to, have done so much good work for veterans and lots of other people in the community. So good stuff. So thanks for coming on. The way the conversation goes, Jers, we just have a bit of crack about your life, find out a bit about you, find out how you got to where you got to, and we'll go from there. How does that sound?
No problem at all, mate. Whatever you want. Whatever you want.
It's good stuff. So, Ger Fowler, this is your life. So, Ger's from Sunderland, born and bred?
Yeah. I was born opposite where the Colliery Tavern is when I was.
All right, class.
And then my house got knocked down because it was like a pit house, and then my parents, we moved to Townend Farm because it was a new estate.
Right.
I was one on my first birthday, and I think we moved back to Southwick when I was about 11 or 12. So I'm next to the match even now. My house is next to the match. Class.
And as this has been filmed, Sunderland is qualified for Europe in the weekend. I mean, what a time to be alive.
Unbelievable. You would have never thought on when we won the playoffs that this was going to happen. Everyone would have been happy just to stay up. I mean, the dream was to finish above Newcastle. That was my dream anyway.
I
suspect most people's dream to get to Europe. And then I thought we'd be in that like conference one, but then we're in the Europe. I mean, it's mental, isn't it?
It's mental. I remember being there when we won at Wembley last year. I remember this bloke from Sky Sports came over and he said to us, "What's your hopes for this season?" And I said, "Finish 17th and beat them twice." That was my hopes. And I've been able to move, and we've done much more. It's been class, man, on it.
It's been unbelievable, mate. I mean, I was just being talking this to someone. Someone phoned us earlier and said, like, oh, he was crying at the match, right? And I said, I'll be honest with you, right? I was, but I had my sunglasses on. And I turned to the guy next to us to see, yeah, I'm even crying here. And he was proper sobbing. And I was thinking, God, it's not just me. But there was hundreds of blokes crying, like.
I cried my eyes out, like, and then when we sang Wise Men Say, like, there's a clip of me, I think it's on Match of the Day. I've got my arms in the air, I've got my sunglasses on, you just see tears just coming down, man. It's beautiful.
I'll watch Match of the Day again.
Yeah, you can have a look. I'm a big yellow shirt, but it's just relief, man, Ger, isn't it? Like, all them years have just been like we were a laughing stock, like, you know. I mean, it was awful, wasn't
it? It's been terrible, mate. But the way fans stick together and stick with the club, it's great, you know. And the funny thing is, though, isn't it? Like, obviously the mags will say, well, your crowds were tiny. Well, they're going to be when you're in League One, you know what I mean? They're going to be smaller, but we still had the best away support. We still had massive crowds compared to other League One.
20,000?
No, I think onwards and upwards. Touch wood. Hey, I'm just riding on the crest of the wave, to be honest. Because I always remember when they were chopping and changing managers, and I always had an opinion. It should be thingy. And my whole thing was it should be David Moyes. So after that debacle, I never mentioned it again. I'm just letting them do what they want.
No, it's been class. Like, I just know for one thing, it's going to be an expensive year next year for me. Like, Christ Almighty, like.
Yeah, well, I've been looking every European. I'm going to go on whether if I've got a ticket or not. It'll probably never happen again in my lifetime. So.
But do you know what? Do you know what really annoyed me? Right, I've got a couple of mates who were like, "Oh, I didn't think we should get into Europe. We haven't got the squad." What a load of bollocks, man! Do you know what? You've got to take your chances, and you've just got to win these things. Like, and
them are the type of people who say stuff like, "Yeah, we should get relegated, have a couple of years in the Championship, and come back." It doesn't work like that. Look,
and as you say, first time in our lifetime, European football. I mean, class, man. Legia Warsaw on a Tuesday night, man. I mean,
it's going to be Shamrock Rovers, isn't it? Crystal Palace, Bournemouth, and then Shamrock Rovers. That's all it'll be. Somewhere really rubbish after we were all excited. It would be nice if it was somewhere hot, wouldn't it? If you began in September, it's nice. You know, I think there's two games in each month. September, October, is it? November. I'll get them anyway. I've booked it on my calendar. I've booked the days off. So
Class. So obviously, Ger, Sunderland lad, obviously. So born not far from the stadium. Well, we've been in Roker Park, obviously, at the time. So grew up in Sunderland, did you? Or
Yeah, I stayed in Sunderland. I went to a Catholic school, so I brought up a Catholic. Mum and dad quite.
I can see you're a good Catholic boy, like Ger, to be
Oh,
fair.
I used to be an altar boy, man. I used to go to the altar. Fucking did as well. I did. So I went to St Thomas Aquinas Senior School, and actually I've got a couple of clients that were in my class, and we always joke like that we were at the bottom of the bottom class. So we couldn't have literally got any further down. Really, we were probably that far from being in like a special school. But you
Class.
know, we've all done all right. You know what? Not everyone's academic, Allah. Not everyone.
No, no.
And I think you just can't get your strengths. You know, I wanted to join the army, so I didn't really care about what happened at school.
Aye.
I mean, when I went to the army when I was, I think, 13, they said, like, right, you need to get, like, this is the lowest thing. And I just
Aye.
aimed for the lowest thing I needed. And that was it.
Do you know,
Now being older, I wish I didn't. I wish I'd stuck in more and had more options. And I tell people that now. And I think education now, or since I was 40, really got into education and doing courses and going to college and stuff like that. I mean, look now, I'm an honorary lecturer at Sunderland University. You know, I've got no qualifications apart
but
from
you know
ones I've
what,
been since I was 40.
my boss, right, he says, chief exec for Social Enterprise Academy, he said to me, he says, Anthony says, you know, because I had this conversation with him, right, and I was talking about, you know, there's a lot of people who are, you know, are intelligent, they've got degrees and letters after the name, and he went, I didn't want that. He went, I want somebody who's got wisdom, and he's right, like, I really believe in that, like, you can get to all the schools, and didn't get us wrong, education's great, right, but you cannot go wrong with having someone who's been around the block, been there and done it. Like I think counts for much more. I really do. Wisdom, like
That's why peer support works in our job. But also, if you think officers in the army, how
aye,
thick were they? You know what I mean? How thick were they? But I've been with one in Berlin, and he had a map. We were lost, and he had a map of a different part of Germany. That's why we were lost. You know what I mean? So they had no common sense. That had loads of qualifications. You know,
aye,
I think when you're older, you work out that education is a good thing. You know,
aye,
but when you're young, it's
aye.
nonsense.
It is what it is. Aye.
When you're young, you think you're gonna live forever and everything's gonna just work out, isn't it? So you realise later on that you've got to try and work it out yourself.
So you joined the army? What? 16, boy soldier then?
16. So I left the army. I left school in I think it was May, and then I worked at Muller Bakeries, you know, in
Aye,
Sunderland.
aye.
I worked
Class.
there. And I fucking 5 o'clock starts, man, at that age. You know, I did that
Yeah.
till I
We
joined
working
the
on the
army.
chocolate. Were you like
Pardon?
baking bread and stuff, or?
Yeah, I was at a dog's body, really. I was in a
Oh, yeah.
bakery in Fillet Road.
Right,
So
class.
you sort of mix stuff for them to make the bread the next morning and stuff.
Right.
Um, I did that, then I joined the army in September 86. So it's 40 years in September that I joined the army.
Christ.
40 years, that's
Christ.
mad, isn't
And
it?
you joined Rifles, is that right?
Light infantry it was
I
before.
infantry at the time, aye.
Aye. The clues there, mate.
Do you know, I was trying to read it like Ger, but my eyesight's gotten a bit like, you know, I'm just a little
Aye.
infantry man myself. So, and so you 1 LI, 2 LI?
1 LI. So I went did like junior leaders in Winchester, and then I was posted to 1 LI who were in Omagh in Ireland, and that was August 88. I went there. No,
Do you know what?
August 87. So I was 17. Went there.
Junior leaders, I don't know about you, like, but I think junior leaders is one of the best things I ever. I did junior leaders and all. I went to Harrogate, Irish Foundation College, and doing junior leaders is one of the best things I ever did, like by
You
far.
know,
Like,
I tell people now that I still use some of the things that I
oh,
learned as a
aye,
junior leader. You know, I
ah,
mean, I have like my time management and stuff like that. It's brilliant, and that's all because of that. You know, because when you're a kid, your fucking time's nothing, is it? You just like, yeah, you got me there at 5 o'clock, and you're like, yeah, there's 2 5 o'clocks. You know what I mean? It doesn't make a difference, but you literally, my time management's spot on, like,
aye. No, you're right.
and
So you went to Omar,
and that
and you
comes
were
from the army, like,
definitely it's that discipline, isn't it? And do you know what? It's about having that. It's like standards, isn't it? I always talk about this with people. Like, it's about standards, like, and it's just about doing the right thing at the right time. Doesn't necessarily mean you do it well, but you do the right thing at the right time.
exactly. And if you're consistent, I mean, you can be consistently bad, but it can still work out for you. You know what I mean? You need to be consistent. And I tell the clients that, like, having a routine is the main thing in life, I think. Because if you haven't got a routine, we've been for a walk this morning, and I was talking to a lad who's, I think he's 60 something. Mick, if you're listening, we're talking about retiring, and like, I don't want to retire.
Aye,
I'm thinking if I can do this kind of job till I'm 75, I'd be happy with that. Because the
aye,
downfall of retirement is, what do you do other than going for a walk in the morning, and then I'll go to the pub.
aye.
Hopefully, I'll not get back into smoking weed because that when I was
You're
younger, that was
75, you'd look class like, to be fair, though. You'd be cool as out.
you know chocolate tastes a lot better though. But no, that like it's easy to do when you got nothing. When you haven't got a routine, it's easy to fall into bad habits, and I don't want that. I want to carry on doing work. Plus, my lass is 15 years younger than me, so she'll only be 60 when I'm 75. 60 sounds kind of old now, though.
What a treat. So you went to Omar at 17, how was that?
17. Well, I went in a thing called under 18 platoon, and I was there for about a month, and then the
I've never
work.
heard of that. I've
Uh,
never heard of anything like that.
so they worked out that I was under 17 and a half. So, and that's illegal to go on. So they said,
All
right,
right.
well, we'll give you a couple of weeks leave. We'll send you to 3LI. They're going to Germany on an exercise. Do that, then come back. You'll be 17 and a half. So I did that. So I got to go and do another exercise. Had a bit leave. Met some nice people in 3LI, like some friends who I'd joined up with anyway. And I went round Germany for, I think it was about 3 weeks, which is, you know, at the time you used to tick like fuck because like you're wet, you're fucking tired and that. But that's what you joined the army for. That's exactly what I wanted. Shooting, running around like pretending you're in the army, but you actually are. It's great.
Did that? Yeah, it's dead funny. I was in the Highlands last week, right, I was doing a course up there anyway, and it was obviously beautiful and all the rest of it. Right? And I got talking to these tourists, and they were like, "We've paid this to come here, we've paid that to go up that hill," and I was thinking, I remember being in the army, and the instructor saying to me, "People pay good money for this," like, and they're right. Like now, people pay good money to kind of lie in the countryside. We used to leave for free and piss and moan all about it the whole way through, didn't we?
More about it, I well, I always remember when I was in Berlin, we went to like somewhere in Germany, but we went in the Alps, like we were walking, and like I love that sort of stuff now. And I remember like ticking, saying, "Fucking sick of this" and stuff. But now I look back at that, and like now I'm paying thousands to go and do that.
Aye,
And
I know.
it's a great life. It's a great life. The down part, well, the down part for me, the discipline and the doing stuff just because they've done it for years.
Aye.
It's ridiculous. Time moves on, and you can think of something. This would be easier, but obviously they don't want to hear that, do they? They want you to just do exactly. And I think that's the downfall of the army. Like if because they see you that they make you a free thinking soldier, so you should be able to do everything on your own. But as soon as you mention something, they're like, "No, we do it this way."
A robot, and yeah, definitely in the infantry as well. Like, and I noticed when I transferred the medics, it was different. Like, to be fair, but being in the infantry, like, they didn't want you to think. It's dig that hole and just keep digging until it's time to
Shoot
stop.
over
Like,
there.
aye,
Just run at them. That's it. Run into that wall. That's it. And that didn't suit me at all. Like, to be honest.
aye. So when did you come out of the army then?
I did. So I left. I went in August '87 to Ireland, and then I left in January '89 to Berlin. So I went
Great.
to Berlin. Now you would think like Ireland would be shit and Berlin would be brilliant, but it was the opposite. Ireland was good because you had
Yeah,
loads of money, you got loads of
yeah.
leave,
Aye,
and you would actually be a soldier. Then I went to Berlin, you had no money,
aye.
everything was really expensive, and also you marching around and having to iron your stuff all the time and bullshit.
Just doing the job, like.
I didn't join the army for that. You know what I mean? I joined the army like for exciting stuff. Even now though, I look back at me. I took my daughter last November to Berlin. Went to the old camp and stuff like that, and I thought like I should have made more of it as a 19-year-old, 20. You know what I mean? I should have, but I didn't. I just
I
wanted
did
to.
that. I did that though. I lived in Germany as well. I was based in Germany, and I didn't bother learning the language. I didn't bother seeing any culture. I just got pissed every night. To be fair, that's all we did. Like, and
Yeah.
I remember going skiing and all these opportunities. Right, I was getting paid for it all, but you just didn't. I was just too busy getting lashed all the time.
Yeah.
I really regret it now. Like, if I saw a young
See,
person do it now, I'd tell them off. Like. But
well, when I went there, and then when I come back, I said, "Do you know what? I've worked out that it was actually us that were the arseholes, not the Germans." Because
yeah,
when I went there to Berlin, everyone was really nice.
I know.
Even the Turks, right? And for years, I hated Turks because I always used to have trouble with them. Honestly, they could have been nicer, and so that basically worked out. It was me. I was the arsehole in the whole situation for 2 years. All right, but I was there when the wall come down.
All right, class. That must have been
So,
pretty
so
good.
before the wall came down, we could go into the east in your uniform, and you would have like lovely food and everything would cost next to out. Wall came down, and all that stopped. Their freedom spoiled our freedom, to be honest.
The fucking.
I know. And Berlin turned into a shithole as well after that. It was lovely before that, but
Was
because
it?
I had everyone just lying on the streets and everything, it was horrible. Like, so
Right.
I was glad to leave. I'd done when I left. I'd done just nearly 5 year,
That's
and
good, eh?
that's from 16. So
Right.
I'd been to school and with a Catholic school and quite strict parents, and then in the army, and then I just wanted to just kind of raves and grow my hair and dine out. To be honest, that's all I wanted. To, like, it sounds stupid because you're in the prime of your life, but I just wanted to dine out. I mean, the
It's funny,
music,
you look at, so you'll have been what, like 21, 22 when you got out, 23 maybe, and
21,
like, you're
21.
only a
Yeah,
band, right? But like, at the time, because you've lived away and you've been in the army for 5 years, like, you think you're so grown up and you're not all like, didn't you? That's the other thing, like, and to be fair, you probably do. I remember coming back and I was only 24, 25, something like that, like, and I'd been around the world and seen it all, and like, none of my mates had done anything. Like, I thought I was missing out, and didn't get us wrong, I was on some stuff, like, but I wasn't really. They were doing fuck all. They had no money. They were dealing out with their lives. That being said, then I got freedom, and freedom can be a bad mixture for people like us.
of course I can, mate. Of course I can. I met a lad that I've seen twice since we left the army, and he's only from Sunderland. A lad called Eth, and I seen him on Sunday, and we'll say like 40 years. And I said, "What did you get out for?" And his reasons were exactly the same as me. He wanted to go to raves. He was missing out on a match. The lads were gone like away for a week, like abroad, and he wasn't gone. And you know what
Yeah,
I mean. And when you think that I was living in Berlin,
I know.
it should have
I know.
been alright. You know what I mean? But yeah,
Try.
you live and learn, and yeah, I don't regret it. I don't regret it. Like everything I've done, I don't regret what I've just really took as a lesson.
Right, you're
I
right.
think that's the only happy in life, innit?
Oh, no, you're right. It's funny what you say though, because like if you look at like you were bored and stuff being in the army at the time, you weren't in war so to speak. But if you look over the last 10 years, right, the squaddies now who's been in the army for 10 years, they've done out, they've done COVID, they've done a little bit of what they call the flooding stuff, and they've marched about for the king and queen. That's all they've done for the last 10 years. I mean that's crap. That like, innit? Like
So it's with,
you,
so it's
you could
with
have done.
my whole. I wanted to join the army because of Ireland. That was the whole reason I wanted to join. I'd seen the Iranian embassy, which was
Yeah.
that's what made me. I'm definitely joining the SAS. That's what we cracked when I was 10. Definitely join the SAS. In fact, I think I'm the only one who wasn't on that balcony. To be honest, if you haven't got everybody was on it. There was more people on that balcony than the Blue Monkey.
You're right. You're right.
Right.
So,
So then the Falklands. And
right.
then you were seeing this sort of live on the telly. TV was changing then, wasn't it? So you got to see live stuff. And I just thought that's definitely the life for me. And it was the life for me, but I think also the life with me was going and getting out of it and enjoying myself.
Right. It's funny, because I was telling someone the other day about why did you join the army, and I was obsessed with World War II, like, and they were like, "I but it was horrible." But I loved it. I love the idea of being in a good trench with my pals and getting into it. Like, and people kind of get that in their heads. They're like, "You're mental." I'm like, but that's what we joined for. Like, that's what you want, man. You want that, didn't you?
That's what you want, and I think it is a bit of a romantic thing that you're thinking that's going to be like that. You know what I mean? The harsh reality of war is people's getting killed and there's people
Right.
getting legs blew off. You know what I mean? I'm too small as it is. I don't want my legs blew off. I'm quite happy being this tall and don't make us any smaller. Thanks very much. And I collect trainers, so that would be good for me.
So when you came out of the army, then what did life look like for you? Then did you find your feet enough
Basically, it was
or?
a drugged haze, ecstasy, different kinds
Yeah.
of drugs, rave music, getting into trouble. Just, I'll say this lightly because I don't, I'm not promoting it. But
No, no.
for me, then it was brilliant. I just loved it. Getting into
Yeah.
trouble with the police, fighting on a football match, all that sort of stuff was great. You know what I mean? It was, and but I think it was just because it was like a burst of freedom because I hadn't
Aye.
had it before. You know what I mean? I hadn't even been in trouble with the police. I'd never been in trouble with the police until
Right.
I was 20. I don't know if it was 22 or 23. I mean, I made up for it in that fucking in the 90s. I made right up for it. I got well me taxpayer money out of it. But I mean, I don't like I've said before. I don't regret it, but I'm not exactly proud of it. It's a bit with the invention of Facebook now, or the invention that I say Facebook.
Aye.
Now I'm not people for photographs on,
Yeah.
matches and stuff, and like now I just cringe. You know what I mean? I just think I'm 56. Don't want to be thinking of myself running around throwing fucking plastic chairs abroad. You know what I mean?
But it's funny though, it's like as you grow up, like you did, didn't because I used to be like that as well. I used to love it all. Like, there's no better than going for a roll around and
Yeah.
being out on your face and that. But I think as you get older, you look down and you go, oh, really? And anyway, I kind of did the hangovers now, like, but I
I
just,
can't, yeah, if it hurts the next morning, it's not worth doing, is it?
aye. And you can't do anything anyway now. Like, it's funny because all these like groups are doing, they didn't do like it used to be, man. The problem is that if you get lifted and all, you're done, you just take your season ticket off you and the party's over, like, innit? It's not worth it, man.
Yeah. And like when I've been banned before, because I live so close to the football ground, you get like a mile ban. So
I did, right?
I live less than half a mile, so that meant I couldn't go out on a match day, couldn't leave the house. So it's just fucking, it's not worth it, mate. It's not worth it. I wouldn't get involved with it out like that ever again. Like I don't.
No.
Before I didn't really have any consequence or fear of consequence, and once I had my daughter Katie, then all that changed. You know, it's weird when
So,
when you've got to look after somebody else. It's a bit weird, isn't it?
you kind of go flinging rocks at, well, you
Yeah,
can't.
and you just got consequences. You know, like my house got raided, and Katie was 3 or 4. And I just thought, that's it. Never, never again. It's been rated before when she wasn't alive, but that's
Aye.
never happening. I'm never putting her through that. And touch wood, I've never been in trouble since.
Aye, good. So, how did Veterans in Crisis come about? So, you came out of the army, you were kind of going about for a bit and having a bit of fun
So,
and whatever.
so I was, I, I'd been diagnosed with PTSD. I'd had loads of problems. I'd been attacked off some dogs. I ended up with a really serious back injury. I'd got addicted to painkillers. I've had counselling. Then I ended up kind of sorting myself out. Then with my niece, we had a bakery. That was doing really well. Then one day I was in my parents' house and my dad died in front of us, and I gave him CPR and it didn't work, and it really, really pissed us off, to be honest, because when you watch it on the telly, it always works, and it wasn't like that at all. Go sick out of his mouth to give him mouth to mouth, and like I've got a bit of a beard now, and for years after, every time I grew a little bit of a beard, I would smell sick, and it was psychological, but it was fucking weird. So I went through a phase where I tried to kill myself. Luckily, I never. And then I started thinking, right, well, this kind of gone on because of Katie's here, and then I thought, right, I'll go to college, so I started doing counselling. And then the baby was doing really well. Then my dad died, so I decided I wanted to get a job where I helped people. Which, if you knew me then, you would have thought that's he's just mucking that up. You know what I mean? But that's
Yeah,
really what happened. Is it was a life changing thing. So I started volunteering at a homeless charity, and I did that. My volunteer paid me on wages, like 9 to 5 every day, and I paid me on wages for 10 months, and then I got a job with them. Learned
right.
loads, and then I was working. Sunderland used to have the highest concentration of private hostels in the northeast,
Oh,
and
that's a
the council wanted them closing down. So we were going in, finding people places to live, and I was finding loads of veterans, loads that nobody knew about. In then days, there wasn't anything like the Legion or anything in Sunderland. There wasn't any veteran stuff. So I set it up on my own, and then the charity I worked for, they were like, "Oh, that's a good idea. We'll get you funding." But when they got the funding, they just kept the funding, and didn't work. So I left after that funding, and I set it up on my own. But I started with like a £10 pay as you go mobile phone. Used Greg's as my office, and in the first month I had 20 clients, and it just snowballed from there.
How did you get, so you were in Greg's and then doing what in Greg's also? Like, you,
Do you know Greg's in High Street?
yeah,
In Fawcett Street, sorry.
Wall Street, aye.
I used to go in there and talk to the women all the time, and they let us have the table at the back furthest
Right.
away, and I would just bring clients in there and have my laptop and then talk to them. But it's not very people can hear. That's why they give us that table. So I'd be in there most of the day and then going around getting
What were you
people.
doing with what were you doing with the clients in Joe? Was that matching them to try and get them houses?
No,
Was
no,
it?
yeah, yeah. So I'd meet them there for a
Right,
first meeting and take a referral, and then
right,
see what I needed to do. So
right.
then I would move on to see if I needed to go and see a private landlord or Gen 2 or whatever. Because I'd worked in homelessness for nearly 10 years, that kind of part was quite easy. Then I'd met two lovely people, Jessica Meir from the council, who was the Armed Forces lead, and
Nice.
Gloria Middleton, who is the Armed Forces lead for the NHS. Met them two in 2017, and they wanted us to do a little bit of work for them for the Armed Forces partnership, and it just got bigger and bigger from there. It's been a kind of rough ride, but it's been enjoyable. And I think if you work for yourself, I'm not motivated for money, right? But I am motivated to be successful. So
Yeah.
that pushes me all the time. Like I just whatever I've done, I just wanted to be successful. I'm not
So
bothered about the money. Before I used to be all about money. If I had a quid, I wanted 2 quid. If I had a grand, I wanted 2 grand. It didn't matter. I always wanted more money, and it gets you nowhere.
so
So
you set with a kick, didn't you? Did you set with a kick straight away,
yeah,
or?
I went. We went to a guy at the Bic actually, and he set it up as a kick, and I wanted it to be a kick. There were several reasons. I just worked for a charity that I thought was no. I was thinking that's not charitable. That's exactly my thoughts were. The stuff you're doing, that's not charitable. So a kick would let me be the CEO, but it would also let me make other businesses for veterans, so the money could come back in here. Because I always think if you start off just thinking, right, I'll just get funded all the time, what happens when the funding stops?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then where would the money come from? So the idea was we would have businesses or funding streams of our own, and then if we did get funding from someone, it was great. And that's the way it's went.
But so it's a big step though to go from like being in the army to partying and doing all the other stuff you were doing to then like doing a bit of homeless check. How on earth did you learn how to run a business? That's the other thing. Because like obviously Veterans in Crisis is successful. You know, you're 9 years old now. But like, How did that bit happen? Was that other people, or did you just learn as
No,
you
to be honest, I've always been a bit of a wheeler dealer and kind of thing, and I can talk. You know what I mean? I'm like I'm not shy to ask people for stuff, and I know a lot of people in Sunderland, and that really snowballed for Vix. The idea of getting the T-shirts printed and then getting Jordan Pickford to wear that at the World Cup. I made it gone worldwide. People all over the world bought them T-shirts, but people in Sunderland were buying them and then going to France getting a took at the Eiffel Tower. With social media, that was all I needed. I didn't have to pay for any advertising because that was the thing, and
So that's the tough thing, that like,
you
isn't
know,
it? Like, it's just you can do stuff for free, can't you? People,
oh,
people always want to chuck money and stuff, but you didn't have to, do you?
you didn't have to, mate. I only wanted to help people in Sunderland. That's what I wanted to do. I didn't have I didn't want to be this massive thing all over the country. I still don't. I still only want to do it in Sunderland. I'm always happy to give people advice or put them onto someone else, but I really only want Vix to be in Sunderland. Like I wanted to be the best, but be in Sunderland. You know.
So what does Vix do now then? So obviously you help everything in it really, but like, so if I was a squatty and I had a problem and I come to you, so what kind of things can I kind of get from you? What can
If you come to me come to us with a problem now, any problem you want, and I'll see if I can help.
so I'm drinking a lot, I've been kicked out of the house, got nowhere to go, and I got no job.
Right, okay. So we're going to start off the housing first, right? So we have an emergency flat upstairs. So we'll put you in there. Then we'd go to the homeless team. Would see what kind of so if you'd had a joint tenancy with your wife or something like that, you have to come off that tenancy. Then
Okay.
obviously because I'm partners with Gen 2, and then we'd go through, so you get banded into a different band. So with you being homeless, with you being a veteran, you'll end up in the top band. Mental health problems, you will. Alcohol, then we can start to go for that after. But is the alcohol because you've got a mental health problem? So if you've got a mental health problem,
Yeah.
you see our counsellor. As for a job, I can get you a job easy. So we're
Right.
partners with Nissan now, so we run
All right.
a skills camp at Nissan. So if you work there for 2 weeks for free, learn all the stuff, and if you alright, if you think you get a job, like, so we've got through the skills camp we've got 100% record of getting people jobs.
That's amazing, actually. And that's all free to squatties and veterans,
Yeah,
yeah.
everything we do, we haven't in the 9 years we haven't charged anyone anything for nothing at all. So when they come for food, the rent, we even when we put people into say Gen 2 property, you're always a week in arrears of your
Right.
rent. So to set people up so that not to fail, we pay that first week for everyone. So they come in, it's 150 quid. We'll pay that. Then you're never in arrears.
That's
And that
amazing.
makes you then you've got that safety net. Because
Right.
it's easy to happen. You put somebody in a flat, you need to support them. You don't just get them a flat. That's the easy bit.
Right. You're right. It's that safety net, isn't it? And that's the bit that people like that don't have, isn't it? I guess it's that bit of because you're right. You can give them the tools, but if they don't know how to fish, like they're not going to be able to do it. But if you give them
Exactly.
that, and you come back with someone can help you, then aye.
Yeah, yeah. And we learn them how to budget anything really, anything that they would need. So what I learned when I was with this charity was whatever sort of thing funding they got. See if it was 20 people, they would sign the 20 people up. Then after that money ran out, they'd sign them 20 people off. Then another bit of funding come off, they'd sign them 20 people up again. You know what I mean? So what
Aye.
I wanted to do was I wasn't asked about the funding. What I wanted to do was just sign somebody at the beginning. So you come in the door now, you just sign, and then you're just a member for life now. So you can get away, have the best life ever. 5 years time, you need counselling, you just come back, or
Aye.
you come every day because you're really bad, or you need the company or anything. You know what I mean? I wanted to do both ways.
Aye. That's amazing. Like, so throughout your journey, obviously you've kind of wiggled a little bit, and now you've got to where you got, and you've had loads of success. I think you got freedom of the city. Is that right as
I
well?
did. I that freedom and said that. It's oh, you can't say it's up there. That was the most amazing thing that's ever happened in my life, like professionally.
It's amazing.
I love Sunderland. Everything about it, Sunderland. I love it. I love it.
So,
Everything. So to get freedom in the city, I can't thank the people enough that give us it. I
so was
really
that when
can.
you can
I was getting interviewed off ITV live 10 minutes before I got it, and they were saying, "What do you feel like getting it?" And I was like, "I haven't got it yet. I'm not even thinking that I've got it until it's actually in my hand." So
does that mean you can march through with your sheep and stuff now? Does it
no,
or?
I've got no sheep, so I didn't even walk in the road because I probably was getting knocked out, to be honest. But I
Class.
was. Well, the great thing as well is Kevin Ball. He got
Yeah.
it at the same time as me, and the council didn't know that he is a patron of Vic's as well. So we
He's,
both got him at the same time, and he's become quite a good friend of mine as well. So it was really nice that we both got it. I tell
he's
you
good.
one thing though, I never write speeches or anything, right? And
He's,
I've never felt so much shit in my life because everyone was up before me and I had papers, speeches, and I didn't have one. So I had to just think about what I'm gonna say. All the way through everyone else's speeches, I was thinking, I wish I wrote a speech. But I managed. I managed. You
but you
know,
know what? Though, that's good because
almost without
you
moment, man.
stick to yourself. You stick to yourself, didn't you? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. That's the way I've been all along. I don't change for anybody, whether the mayor comes in or you know leader of the council or the client. I'm exactly the same, and I find that people warm to that because you always know what you're gonna get. You know what I mean? I am cheeky and I say mental stuff I know already, but I cheese me up and I try not to offend people. So no,
Do you? Do you know?
I try. I said I try not to. I didn't say I don't. I just try not to. Maybe I'm not good at my job.
No, class. So, Joe, at this point we always ask what's been your scrambled egg moment. So, what we mean by that is what part of your business journey in particular, or your personal life, where things haven't gone so well, and what have you done to change them and get them to go a bit better and get
If it
back on
was my
track?
personal life, I would say probably the drugs. Smoking weed every day is no good for you. I'm telling you, everybody now, it's no good for you. As much as it's brilliant, or it was, I thought brilliant. The day I've stopped smoking weed, all this has happened. So personally, to me, weed's no good for you. If you want to do anything in life, just don't smoke weed because a low chocolate tastes better. The telly's funnier. You know all that's true. However, if you work and it isn't a good thing. It really isn't. So I would say to kids, don't smoke weed or take any drugs. If you want to do stuff, I'm not anybody's mom to tell people not to do stuff, but moderation and not didn't do stuff all the time. Like same with drinking though.
Yeah, yeah. And for veterans in particular, like especially drink, I would say, like it's just a crutch in it, and it's something that
Yeah.
most, I would say, 99% of us have probably got some sort of alcoholism because that was just a culture, like wasn't it? It was just
It
the way it
was.
was.
I mean, apparently it's changed now, and I laughed the other day because they said that the culture now is games, like Call of Duty and that.
Yeah, that's weird, that
Like,
man.
because they've all got their own rooms, so you're just in there, and they're playing like the person in the next room. Right? Like to us, it sounds mental because how do you bond then? You know what I
That's,
mean?
that's the key. Like, the thing is about the drinking, right? Didn't get us wrong. Like, it's bad for you and all the rest of it in many ways. But what it meant was, them lads, no matter what, they had each other's backs. Like, even if you didn't like someone, you'd get out, have a pint, have a fight, whatever, and then you'd be back friends the next day. And you'd get on with it. And that, for me, personally, I think that was a really good thing for us, anyway, wasn't it?
It was, mate, and that's how you. When the younger lads joined battalion, that's how they became integrated. You know what I mean? And I mean, like as mental as it sounds, that you used to have to drink a pint of spirits. Now I was about 4 foot tall. I shouldn't be drinking a pint of spirits. You know what I mean? They used to call it because we're green berets. They used to like call it the green goddess because it had something shit green in it. You think about it now, man. Neither one. I used to be sick all the time.
Different
Aye,
time.
so that would be my advice from me scrambled leg moment from me personal life, I suppose. Business wise, watch out who you trust. That's what I would say. Not everybody's your friend. And I said a great thing the other day that someone said like it was something like if you don't let somebody else be the captain, they'll want the ship to sink. You know what I mean? And
Right.
it really resonated with what happened there. So you
Aye.
just got to be really careful. Doesn't matter how long you've knew people. Jealousy's a
Aye.
terrible thing, you know. And
It is. Do you know what it is? I've experienced that in my working
yeah,
career as well. It is. It's weird, isn't it? Because people just want to see you fall. Like, and it's just, I don't know. Like, just because you're not the person who seems to be doing whatever, it doesn't matter. Like, everyone's got their use. Like, you didn't have to put everybody else down. I've totally seen that.
you're
Like,
better for putting people down. That's for sure. You know, and I'm the same. Especially people from Sunderland. I love to see whether my friend's been in today who's got a pub. I'm over the moon. That's doing well. You know, whether were you at the Bic. You know, I love to see it. It's good for the city. People
because
do it.
I
You
this.
know what I mean? It's good, especially when it's out nationally.
Aye.
Whenever they see like the word Sunderland on the telly, I'm just buzzing for people.
Why last weekend was so good, wasn't it? With a big weekend and
Yeah,
the footy and everything else. Like,
I can't remember a bank holiday as good as last weekend. Can it? In my whole life, I can't remember a bank holiday as good as last weekend.
aye,
I
never.
mean,
And I don't think we'll ever get as good a one ever again. I think that's the peak, like, isn't it? And I think we know that, like, we're
yeah,
quite happy with it. That's the peak for us, isn't it?
yeah, we're nearly dead, mate. So that's at least it's happened. At least it's happened now, man.
Last question for you, Ger. So obviously you've been, you have been successful. You do some great stuff. You do some brilliant work. What would you say is your golden egg? What's your bit of advice that you would give to anyone that you think
um,
is worth hanging on
I
to?
would probably say like nothing comes easy, so hard work. Like you'll see shortcuts in that, right? But the shortcuts are shortcuts for that little bit in time.
Yeah.
Unless you work hard all the time, it doesn't pay off. I know that. I used to have a Skive to Survive manual when I was in the army. If I could get away with anything, I would have done it. You know what I mean? Now you just have to work hard. I'm constantly thinking or working or starting new stuff to think of the money to pay for this. You know, because the last thing I would ever want is for this to fail. Like I said earlier, I just want to be successful. I want the stuff that I've done to be successful. And touch wood, it has been up to now. There's been some down bits.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
times where I didn't sleep because I'm thinking, I've got stuff. Where's the money gonna come from to pay for them? But then the next day, something good happens. It's like a roller
No.
coaster. But
Aye.
unless you're working hard all the time, then it's not gonna work for you, is it?
And that's one thing you absolutely definitely do like. Um, no, great. Cheers, Ger. I mean, I guess my final question is, what's next for Veterans in Crisis and for Ger Fowler? What's in the
Well,
pipeline?
we've got accommodation now. We've got several different businesses that we are doing. Um, I suppose the biggest thing that's happening now is from Monday we're extending the ARV in Rota, so that's the next the next headache I'm gonna have. That's been going on for 2 years. I've never ever built anything in my life, right? And I'll never ever build anything. I always used to remember that thing, Grand Designs, and I used to think, fuck, I'm definitely gonna build my own house. I'm only building an extension. It's been the worst thing in the world. How people do this as a job, man. God, so stressful. Every 5 minutes, something else. It costs you more money, and something else happens. And I'm thinking, how's that even possible? And then
Disruption everywhere.
we had somebody contact us the other day. We've had to pay for these foundations, and they contacted us and said, "What about this part for the foundations?" We're like, "Does it not come with it?" So now we've had to organise that. And that's like less than a week. So, aye. So I'm not. I'm not looking forward to that, but hopefully in a few months' time it'll all be done. You have to come to the opening.
Definitely, definitely. When is it? Have you got an official date yet, or?
Oh man, fucking. I hope it's just a couple of months. I hope it's a couple of months. In my mind, I'm thinking the end of August. That's what I'm
Right.
thinking.
Okay. Right.
But
Roughly.
it might be longer. I'll tell you a funny thing. I didn't realize as well, right? Everything wasn't done when inside. When we pay the money, I
All
thought
right.
that I'd just come in, it was all done. Even
That's
down
all
the list,
right.
there'd be furniture in that. It's gotta be a shell, and then I've got to buy everything for inside as well. So, uh, that's a learning curve, mate. Never build anything.
You learn as you can. Yeah, honestly, it's been great chatting, buddy. And
Good man.
honestly, thanks so much for sharing your life and your insights. And you know what? Honestly, thanks for just being you, man.
Oh man, thank
It's
you.
class.
Thanks,
Like
thanks for the
it's
invite, man, and keep up the good work. Keep promoting Sunderland. That's what I say.
well, of course, man. Till the end, obviously.
Hey, till the end.
Cheers, Joe. Take it easy,
Cheers,
man.
man.
Till the
Bye, man. Bye. Bye.